Google wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money. It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at.
What's going on out there, traders? How we doing? It's good to see you guys, and Money Mitch is back in the office. I will say that definitely dealt with the gremlins today. Who poured the water on the computer? Because the gremlins came out today and they tried to get me. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm not going to let them get me, guys. I made it here, made it through the rough time right there. Had some permission issues with Chrome. I don't know what happened there. Still not resolved, but we found the solution, and that's what really matters here. So it's good to see you guys out there. Sorry about the late start here. Of course, we got a lot to talk about. I'm going to try to really quickly run through the rundown that I normally would do. Of course, we get through the playbook and the sunrise report and then get right to the market. I do have a swing trade on in Tesla I want to let you guys know about. I just opened this up right now. So I opened that up at 219.94. We'll talk a little bit about that coming up here. Looking for Tesla to get a run, but that's just a preview of the playbook. Let's get to the playbook and talk all about it. All right, playbook one, let's take a look. We'll take a look at Qualcomm here as I'm looking to see some tech upside today. And this is one that's been sideways for a little bit. And so we'll be looking for a nice little break to the upside, right? And so this is what I like on this chart. You guys can see it here, how it's starting to set up for a nice little move back above this trend line. And we'll look to see if it starts to really kind of make a break for 175, 176. I could see that being into play. If I take a look at the daily chart, this has had a nice little sideways period. Now could start to catch up. And what I'm really looking at is pretty much a daily trend line that's approaching more to here. And so I think it could get right back towards that 175, 176 range today. And this is just an overall play. I'm trying to catch some laggard action in technology. Not a bad one to look at. Qualcomm. Let's go to the second one here. We'll talk a little bit about Apple. Apple's in the news, of course, with their iPhone. We'll talk a little bit about that on the sunrise report, but let's take a look at the action here as Apple's starting to go towards the highs. I've talked about the highs and how it looked like it wanted to get new all-time highs, and that was back then at like 220s. And now we're looking at this, and it's approaching at the 237.23. Right now you're trading at 236.50s. Can we get to that all-time high and make a new high today? I definitely think it's in play. So keep an eye on it with Apple. And you guys can see it here, setting up for that move. Will it get that move and go back through the all-time high? It's not a bad stock to look at here. Definitely look at the high here, 237.50. That's going to be an area where it definitely struggles. Maybe potential pullback to 235 out the gates, but looks hot today. We'll see what happens there in Apple. Third play, of course, is Tesla. Talked about it. I already have it on as a swing, full disclosure. Just got that this morning, right? It wasn't that I got it yesterday. I got that this morning. We'll see how it works out. Let's take a look at the chart here as it's starting to set up. And it's a nice little pattern, right? So this is what I'm looking at, right? It's starting to kind of hold here. Of course, if it goes back through that 214, it's a kind of a dead trade there and could keep breaking down. But I'm looking for a reversal back up, back towards 225 today. 223 is going to be a big, important level. Once it starts to clear that, I think you really start to get some control back into the gap zone. So let's see what happens with Tesla. Can it get moving today? Like I mentioned, I got this one right before the 220 as it was going sideways here in this morning. I said, you know what? I can risk off the 219s. Let's take the shot and see if Tesla can get running before the bell. We'll see what happens there in Tesla. Let's go over now to, of course, our sunrise report. We got a lot to talk about. We got some things to look into here. So let's kick things off. Of course, the sunrise report is where we give you guys the information on what's moving out there. So let's get to the action here. You guys know where you're at. It's Money Mitch. Let's get to it. Let's see what I can come up with on the sunrise report. All right, Team Netflix shares are soaring here on Friday, of course, and this is something definitely to look at as Netflix shares soar on Friday, reporting a strong third quarter earnings and revenues. Shares were up 5.6% in pre-market trading as, of course, good numbers coming in here, right? You got the nice action to start really coming in here. And the big part of this was that Netflix earnings per share hit $5.40, blowing past the $5.12 consensus estimate. 9.83 billion, higher than the anticipated 9.77. But here's where things get interesting. Netflix ad-supported membership tier surged 35% quarter over quarter. So what does this mean, right? Things to think about. While ads aren't expected to drive the primary growth until 2026, it's already doing so. And that's something definitely to pay attention to, right? As it's already making waves, accounting for over 50% of signups in the market where it's available. Looking ahead, of course, Netflix is projecting a big fourth quarter with revenues expected to jump 14.7 to 10.128 billion. And for 2025, the company's forecast revenue growth of 11 and 13% from its projected 24 revenues. So not looking too bad. But what's fueling Netflix rise? Of course, that's the important part here. As according to Richard Brownthorne, from Ampere Analysis, it's looking at the content investment, right? Despite the cutbacks in the industry, Netflix keeps pouring money into content, giving them a powerful edge for the next year. And of course, this coming holiday season, you'll get what? Squid Games 2. And that's what they expect to hear from Netflix, right? Well, let's kick things off to the second one here as we go and move over to talk a little bit about Procter & Gamble and CVS. So it looks like I got Procter & Gamble a little bit above this. Let me go ahead and go to CVS here, talk a little bit about what happened with the news here in CVS. And of course, CVS replacing the CEO as they've been down 20%, guys. So it's a big hit there. And one of the things is, of course, is how do they turn things around at CVS, right? And so this is the main concern, because the truth is, all of the things that they expected to go into, right? They went into the kind of the healthcare plans and tried to push into that area, and it hasn't benefited them. I think in this case, this is a dying brand. It's just really tough to see things turn around at CVS or Walgreens for that mention. Let's get to the third one here as we talk a little bit about Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble reported weaker than expected revenues due to lower demand in China. It's showing its shares stayed flat in pre-market trading. Let's talk a little bit about the breakdown here and what happened in the report for Procter & Gamble. The EPS was at $1.93 versus $1.90 expected. Revenue was at 21.74 versus a 21.91 billion expected. Although earnings per share were slightly above the estimate, net income dropped 1%. And so at this rate, you can tell that China's still kind of holding things back, right? But let's move over. Let's get to the fourth report here as we talk a little bit about travelers. And let's talk a little bit about this good report. They definitely kicked it here. A huge third quarter surprise. So this wasn't expected. Revenues up 12% year over year, 11.904 billion. Their core income per share shot up 169%, coming in at $5.24, easily surpassing the $3.64 consensus estimate. So big surprise beat on the EPS, and that definitely helped travelers soar 6.9%, and it's going to help the Dow stocks move higher. So keep your eyes on that action. Let's keep it moving. Let's go to the last one here as we talk a little bit about Apple. And Apple is having a great day already. Shares climb at 2% in the pre-market here after strong sales in iPhone 16 in China. The new model sales were up 20% compared to its of course, to the iPhone 15, right? And so one thing to take a look at here is, will this continue to push, right? This is a nice comeback after a slower iPhone 15, and we'll continue to watch to see if iPhone 16 can really take things off, right? And one of the things is, take a look at the Pro Max, right? The more expensive. That's what we really need to be watching for Apple to continue lifting. But good move here and could be going through all-time highs today. All right, guys, that's going to do it for our Sunrise Report. Let's get over to the live show. Let's get over to, of course, the action in the market right now. Let's take a look at what's going on. I'm ready to trade, guys. The question is, are you guys ready to trade? Let me know. What's your top stock to watch today? We can definitely take a look at the action right now. I'm going to go ahead and just give me a second here to share my screen, get this up, and we'll start taking a look to see what I can trade today. Of course, I'm back in the main screens today, so this is going to be fun. We'll be able to kind of compete and take a look at some different action today and really kind of keep up with the market because it's very difficult to do so on kind of just one screen. So, all right, let's go. Let's continue here, guys. Let's move over to the main screen there. Boom. All right, guys. I got to zoom this out a little bit here. There we go. Now I can see myself a little bit better. All right. Where did my gainers and losers go? Let me get them back here. Gainers and losers. There they are. Supposed to be in that spot. All right, guys, let's take a look at what's going on right now. You guys can see I'm long on Tesla, guys. 219.94. It's already up there towards 220.56. Was up about $56 already starting it off. Would like to add to this position. Don't mind adding to it. So we'll see what happens if I'm able to get another add on this. But for right now, just taking a look at it, right? So do have a little bit of exposure that I can add to this. It's not much. So I'll be watching to see what I can get out the gates here. All right, we'll take a look to see what happens in technology today. Can we get another run, right? Will technology continue the lift? It's been pushing this morning, and it's a nice little push, guys. NVIDIA already starting to come back up to the top. Apple, nice little push. Netflix, nice little push higher towards that 740, right? And we'll look to see if this can keep going. What a move by Netflix. Every time we get these pullbacks, it just seems to be opportunities for Netflix. We talked about that just yesterday, and looks like it continues, right? Yesterday, this came down. I had a low here of 666. Well, that could have been off the earnings, but boy, oh boy, what a move. Right back down. First spike down into that area, and it came right back out of it. All right, catching up with you guys in the chat. What's going on? Good morning to you guys. How we doing out there? Why did I leave Benzinga? And can we get Spencer off the couch for a guest appearance? Oh man, Oliver, we could talk a little bit more about that for sure. I got to reach out to my man Spencer. I wonder what he's doing out there. You know what we need to do? We need to do a reunion. We need to go back to Benzinga. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, hey, this was a growth move for me, right? The reason why I came over to trade the pool is to continue doing what I love doing, right? Which is trading, right? Sometimes, you get into different kind of jobs in Benzinga. I was doing like different things with events and stuff like that. And that's just not me, guys. I like trading, right? So I wanted to continue expanding, continue growing. So I pushed away and went to a team that I already knew. A team that I really appreciated, and I enjoy being here at Trade the Pool. So let's keep it going. And it's good to see you out there, Oliver. And definitely let me know what stocks you guys are watching this morning. We'll take a look. Eli, Jane, what's going on out there, team? How we doing? Where's Wisdom? I haven't seen Wisdom in a little bit. Kevin, good morning to you. Let's take a look at what's going on out there. Drug, Eli? Is Drug moving again? Man, we killed it on Drug on the short side. Are we getting an up move? Ooh, I had that feeling potentially that we could get a spike on this. That's why I didn't short it again. Trust me, I was thinking about it. But hey, there you guys see it now starting to move. And this could keep rocking and rolling, right? So it's had that nice little spike here in the morning, right around 7 a.m., right when I was getting to the computer. It was trying to wait for me, but had to deal with the gremlins. We'll see what happens here on Drug. Can it pull back and find some areas to buy? I like the pullbacks now back towards 30, right? So wash out some traders here out the gates, wash to 30, and then start to work back. We'll see what happens there in Drug. Can take a look at some other ones. It's funny. So we got Drug and we got this other one that I call Sober or SBOR. It's Sobar safe or whatever, but I call it Sober. So, hey, here you guys have it. We got Drug and Sober moving right now. Let's take a look here on the hourly. This actually doesn't look too bad. So you can see here on the hourly, this is pulled back and it's holding in here, right? So it doesn't look bad at all. Just needs to start holding, especially where this body kind of closed on the bottom of this. I really look for this to kind of start to hold there around the 14.86, $15, just undercut it. Now could recover it and hold it. So good looking pullback there on Sober. I kind of like this one here. Could still undercut 15 again. Be careful with this one with the spread. The spread's 30 cents. So the spread being 30 cents is going to make it very difficult to trade, but it's one that's on the radar. All right, we'll take a look at some other ones out there. If you guys got a name you guys want to take a look at, let me know, guys. But look at Pakar already, guys, towards 109. So this doesn't look too bad at all as it starts to take off. And I've talked about that I did sell the swing trade, but it could hold on the 9 EMA and keep running here. Now I really look for Deer and Cat to play catch up and start to make that push. Cat could go through 400 today. Deer could start making a move back through 410. Well, let's talk a little bit about technology stocks as the Qs are just looking strong this morning. And of course, right when I say that, they start to pull back. Let's take a look at some of the stocks you guys are watching. If you got a stock out there, throw it up in the chat. We got a lot to take a look at this morning. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. Let's go, team. All right, guys. And it was that first fifth feeling. So I'll give them a little shout out. I don't like them that much, but give them a little shout out. We got Starbucks this morning. We didn't have creamer in the house. Got to throw away everything in the fridge. It's just pinkies up out here, guys. Spending money, but hey, let's go ahead and make some money today. How about that? All right, that we can do. Let's go take a look. We'll look around as the Qs pull back. I'm sure Tesla's pulling back also. Let's see here. It's actually pushing strong there. Tesla. Get in the move, guys. Get in the move right now, guys. I was thinking about taking this in the limited account this morning, but the truth is, overnight action, don't got enough buying power, so went with the swing trade, and it's looking good, man. Let's get this through 221. Let's see if we can get to 225 today and really start rocking and rolling in Tesla. Look at that move now, 221.15s, 221 on the bid. There we go. Now we're rocking and rolling up about 120 on this name. Let's see if we can keep this rolling and maybe find a little more. Get a little more on this action here. We'll see what happens there. Up about 118. Can this keep moving? Yeah, it could. It could, team. We'll see what happens here. Let me fix the font on this. I usually like to change the font for you guys. Let me make it a little bit bigger. There you go. Colors, maybe. All right, well, I think we're good on that end. There we go. That's how it should look like. Now you guys can see it at least. Wanted you guys to be able to see the positions a little bit easier there, so made it a little thicker and bold there so you guys can see it now. Up about 131 on this one, and we opened it up this morning. You can see it right here. So I'll even show you guys the time right there. 8:15 in the morning is exactly when I got into Tesla. And there she goes up there towards 221. We'll see what happens here, guys. It's 9:29. Market's about to open. I'll tell you one thing. It came fast today. So let's get ready. Let's be patient here. Let's try to take a look at some of the ones you guys are watching. I'll even look at those out the gates. I'm going to keep it simple here out the gates and then really ready to swing. Not enough buying power to trade Tesla in the morning. Yeah, you can go for the other names, right? Yeah, the leverage ones like TSL. That's the ETF. Yeah, good idea, day trade with Tony. I should have maybe thought about that this morning with the limited account. But we could still kind of trade this, right? We can take a look at those for the trade today, and we can swing to the actual ticker, right? So not looking too bad right now. Let's see if we get a little bit of an undercut back here towards like 950s, and then we can maybe play TSLL. But let's get the main, the limited account here and see what we can come up with. The swing account, I'll just let that work for right now, unless I see Tesla take a huge dump. But looks good there. I'm looking at Sober right now. It is doing that undercut around 15. Could really start to make the move here. But the spread's just too wide on this, guys. So I'm going to go more looking at different names. Drug ripping to the upside, guys. Almost 37 now, 38. So this is really taking off, man. Holy moly. But the spread's wide on this puppy. So just be careful out there, guys. But Drug pushing strong. with that being said, I want to go looking at a different name that has been making a move that maybe could make a move too. So I'll be taking a look at these names to see what makes the move today. Peggy showing up there as one of the smaller ones that is making a move here. And so we got to take a look around, guys. There's going to be some sympathy plays that we can maybe catch here on the pullback. So Peggy just made a little bit of an attempt back up. I'm going to look for an undercut back towards 8 and then a rally back here. So if it could undercut 8 and then come right back up, it looks good here. Peggy. All right, looking around out there, guys. This is the smaller names. We can go taking a look at some of the bigger names like Qualcomm. Also, Tesla pulling back there to the 219. So that's going to give you that TSLL pullback. We'll see if it gets back there towards the support. Support may back down towards like the 940s, 950s. Doesn't look too bad at that level here. If I could get an attempt towards 950s and then it holds at 944, we'll be looking pretty decent there. So I don't mind it here. Just needs to go towards that 950s, hold for a second there, then reverse back here. We'll look for a move towards 10 today in TSLL. There it goes. It's holding already here, getting the push here, guys. So it just could take off here, and it's already taking off there. Going to the 970s here. Let's see if it really kind of pushes. Seeing the actual ticker over here on the right-hand side, and that's pushing well. It's up there to 221.70. So here it goes. Next push there, 973. Had an opportunity at the VWAP there. It's just not moving too much either on this leverage one, right? So it's just not my type of play, guys. I'm going to go off of this, but at least the swing is looking great there in Tesla. Qualcomm is one that I can look to start catching the bid here and start making a move back up. The key is Qualcomm also has a little bit of a spread, so you got to be careful with that. But looking around out there, guys, XLK is another way to maybe play the action in technology today. It is pulling back here, but we'll look to see if it really gets strong. Tesla pushing strong there, guys. Swing trade looking great there. Zach continues to push off there. Now almost up 200. All right, looking around at the sectors right out the gates here, guys. So definitely let's take a look out there and let's see what we can find. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. Let's take things down a notch and keep getting after it. All right, looking around in the chat. Leave a like. Yeah, I would appreciate it, guys. Did I sleep well? Man, honestly, I didn't, but who cares, man? Forget sleep. Let's go. Ain't no rest for the wicked. All right, our Netflix. Okay. Well, how is the Netflix trading off with that earnings right off of the back? Oof, nice little push to the upside. Put in some names out there, trying to catch something that's moving here. Pakar is lifting there to 110, so that looks good for Deere. I'm just keeping an eye on Deere to see if it starts to go higher towards the 408s. Netflix keeps pushing. That's strong there. Apple pulling back there, so at least getting a small pullback in Apple. We'll look to see what happens there. Now Peggy starting to recover here. Peggy did do that 8 attempt there. And I like that 8 attempt there. I missed the entry at the 8, but I could still get it here. Let's see if I can get it here on the main account, on the limited account here. All right. I'm looking for below 825s, 820s here on the bid. I just went to 845 on the bid. Put 100 out there at 817, trying to get a pullback fill there. Might not get the pullback fill, guys. I'm looking at Peggy here. I'm trying to get an entry here. No entry there so far. Ah, man, I missed that 8. Would love 8 again. Looking for a pullback. I got 810s out there for 100 shares here. Looking at Peggy. Kind of slowing up here. Spread's widening out here a second. I'm going to cancel for a second here. It could get a nice little pullback. We are getting that pullback here. The spread's now 30 cents wide, 30, 40 cents wide. It's a little bit too wide for me, guys. So even if I go at this at 100 shares, right? If the spread goes 40 cents wide, I'm already risking 40 cents on that. And then it easily becomes like $80, $100. So got to be careful there. Catching up with you guys in the chat. Aura surging. All right. Is anyone having platform problems? Which problem? Let me know. Drug halted? Maybe. I haven't taken a look there, but I would think so. There's the 820 pullback there. So have the opportunity here, but it's just hard to risk here. I'm going to maybe come after it with a smaller size, and then maybe that's the way I come after it with 50 shares here. But that's the only way I see it, man. It's just too hard, guys. The spread's too wide. I have a feeling it's going to pop here, but with this account and the way that I've been trying to hold the risk, it just doesn't make sense. Even though I like the trade, even though I like that 8 pullback, could expand back towards 9 and then really get going to 10. That's what, $100 on the upside. The risk is just too much for me on Peggy. Sober, how's that one? Did it tighten up? That's the main thing with SOBR. If it could tighten up, it did. Off the 15 was the move, man. That was a break right there. Good luck on my end. I just didn't trade it well. Or didn't trade it at all, really. Zims, shippers ripping. All right, looking around, guys, trying to find some different plays out there. Drug is still moving, guys. It did halt for a little bit, now pulling back there. Could take another level up. Looking around to see what I can trade. Tesla's moving back and forth. It's back down, actually. So we'll see what happens in the Qs right now. Q's kind of hanging on now, trying to make a little bit of an up attempt here in the 9:37 clock, but I think we might still have like the first 15 minutes on the pullback and then really get things going. I'm looking at some of the bigger names. I like Microsoft today. Been waiting for Microsoft to make a move back towards 225, so keeping an eye on this. Might take a little bit of a trade in Microsoft here. Still holding in well here on Microsoft, looking for a little pullback back towards 116.70, and then a move back through 418 would be the signal for me. Did get a good volume here out the gates there. I think, what, 2.4 million shares there traded there on a 1 minute. So in that 1 minute, somebody wanted in and said, I'll take the 417s there. All right, holding well right now. Could just take off here off the 418.39s. Microsoft looking well here. Q's starting to push back here. Let's see if the Q's make an up attempt here. Sober now on the pullback down, and I think it halted on the downside. So, hey, that's just how these smaller plays go. I did see Baba did bottom at that 100 yesterday. Now pulling back here. What a nice little bottom off the 50% retracement. I'm going to be looking to see if it can come back anywhere near that. Even 101, I'd like it, but just keeping an eye on it there. Deer pulling back here. Seeing the market pull back a little bit here out the gates, as only thing in red is communication services and basic materials. Gold is one that I'm watching here. It is recovering now and holding yesterday's kind of small rally. Let's see if it can continue going towards 21 today. Looking around, guys, chemicals, what else is out there? CCJ pulling back there. How's the nano nuclear? There's a rip, guys. Here's a nice one, guys. I wanted to keep it on the radar. Didn't have the alert set, but definitely missed it there. NNE pushed towards 21, looking for a pullback to 20, but nice little push right there on NNE. That could maybe help SMR. As SMR, a nice little push from the 1750s up to 1850s. These nuclear stocks, man, they just keep ripping, and I'm missing these plays completely. I think a little part of it is because I watched them at like $8, and now trading them at 18 makes me feel a little bit weird. But hey, that's how it goes sometimes. NNE just continuing the strength there. So nice little push towards 21. Resistance at 2150s. We'll look to see if that works, and then it comes back towards 20. Not a bad one to watch there. Looking around at the market, guys, trying to find trade there. Apple pulling back significantly. I'd like hour-long pullbacks on that. It still needs to pull back a little bit more. I could look at that around 234s is a good level. Maybe an undercut on 234s for Apple, and then we start to work our way back here. So that's one that I could look at. That's not a bad one to look. It's still pulling back, looking for an undercut through that 234. Qualcomm or Q's trying to recover there. We'll see if it can make that move. Qualcomm still on the downside. Microsoft looking a little bit better on this 419 break. Could go for that 420 move. We'll see if it starts to make that move and starts to come back. I like it overall. I've been watching this daily and been looking to see if we could recover back towards 425 and 430s. All right, guys, TSLL now back at 960s, 950s, 966. Just got back above the VWAP here. All right, let's go for it. It's not a bad way to take a trade. I'm just double dipping, and I hate the double dip, but let's try it here. So we got 67. Let's see if we can get maybe 60s on the pullback, but I don't think we're going to get a pullback here. Opportunity at least. So I got to go up a little bit sizing because this doesn't move as much. So I got to be thinking about that. It doesn't move as much, but it also is a lot cheaper, right? So to give you that perspective on a 1 minute, this is going to maybe move 9 cents. Maybe on a 15 minute, maybe we've been getting 6 cents lately. So not too much, right? So that's one thing to keep in mind. It really needs to get going. Maybe a move to 10 on the top move. So you're talking, what, 35 cents higher? Not the worst. Q's trying to recover here. We'll see if it can recover. Still getting one more down attempt here, seems like. Microsoft up there now to 419.55, so that one actually doing pretty well there. Energy pulling back there. XOM kind of holding that 120 right now. We'll look to see if it kind of catches a little bit of a dip there. Got out of my swing trade yesterday on ExxonMobil. Took a little bit of a hit there. Lockheed Martin trying to recover. That could help industrials get back. There's Tesla with one more pullback there. We'll look to see if finally this is the time there. All right, 64s, 65s. If I'm going to go for it, now's my shot here. Let's go for it, team. Let's see what I can do here. All right, want to hold off really tight risk here, guys. So I got to go off of it, but taking a shot here. 500 shares, 964 long on TSLL. Looking for the push above here. Let's see if it can really start rocking and rolling. Around the 970s, I can add a little bit and then hold the rest break even. Let me know if you guys want to see the main screen again, also on the kind of the Trade the Pool platform. I know I was showing a lot of that throughout the time that I was out the Airbnb. So we'll see what happens here. At first, got to keep it tight. Got to keep it tight here. Just going to risk about like 30 bucks here, about the 958. Really don't want it to even go back through 960 here. Looking for a nice little expansion back up. But hey, let's see if we can get it. Microsoft staying strong there, looking good there on Microsoft, guys. So that's having a pretty decent day there. Apple, did we get through that 234? Yes, we hit it right on the dot and starting to recover. I'd like to see one more attempt towards that 234 and then really get that recovery, but looking interesting right now. Cleveland Cliff, interesting steel play. So what's going on with Steel Dynamics? Ooh, that looks like a pretty strong move there in Steel Dynamics yesterday. Cleveland Cliff really getting going yesterday. Let's see if it can just continue going. Can we get a day 2 move? Hourly seems to be holding the support at the 1380s. Looks pretty decent here on Cleveland Cliff to make a move back towards 14 and above. Not a bad look there for steel. Zach's trying to give it to me. It's trying to give it to me. X trying to give it to me. US Steel, man. I used to trade this all the time. All right, HEPS. We'll see what happens there. Pullback 363. This looks like a nice little penny name, small cap name. It did pull back off that 4, now pulling back towards the 364s. We'll look to see if that kind of holds in here. All right, good little pullback there on TSLL. Looking around to see what other names are moving. HEP's definitely one of the smaller names. Drug is definitely one of those names that has pulled back now. Hasn't even made it back to the VWAP, so that just shows you the strength right now and how people are watching it. Sober is another one to keep an eye out for. It did pull back to the 15 and now coming back, so that's one thing that I'd keep an eye out for. It could just keep rocking and rolling and holding that 15, right? Then the next move comes, right? And so I'm watching it right now. Doesn't look too bad. Did just bottom out around there, around the 15. I'd maybe let it try one more time on the spread. But other than that, it could get a nice little move back to 18. So risk to return on that one. It's starting to get interesting. We'll see what happens there. All right, TSLL definitely trying to load up here, but not making a move right now. Just keeping an eye on it. Pulling back now, back towards the 58s. Definitely getting closer towards my risk here. Let's see if it starts to actually climb up here now. Volume's coming in here. Getting a downside attempt back here. $9.55s definitely get me out. So Q's pulled back. That's another thing to note here, guys. So Q's are getting weak here. Right back to the 494.50s. Q's down attempt here, guys. Down attempt on the Q's back towards 494.30s. Let's see if this can hold on Tesla here. If not, might just have to get out of here as the Q's are dumping here, guys. So that's the one thing I note right off the top is that the Q's here now starting to come right back down. They did climb back up, but just got hit right back. So SPY could reject that. We'll see what happens here if the VXX starts to jump here. Netflix staying strong. How's Microsoft? Microsoft pulled back right back towards the 417.50 area. So I kind of like this area. I'm just watching Tesla right now, but this doesn't look too bad at all on Microsoft. Look to see what happens here. Definitely the Q's trying to take a down move now, guys. Back down towards 494. Doesn't look good here. Let's see if it can hold the 57 bottom action right now. Downside sweep coming in here, guys. Q's coming down fast there, guys. I'll tell you one thing. I'm putting my stop out there. 956 right now. Probably going to get hit here on TSLL. There it is, guys. Just got hit there. $45 down there on TSLL. And the big part is his stock never went anywhere. That's the hard part. Like, I would rather take Tesla that actually kind of gets that dollar wide move, right? Versus just a couple pennies move and it just doesn't go anywhere. But hey, that's just how it goes. Definitely got that down attempt in the Q's. Wasn't going to hold on for a wash out there towards the 493s. So just got to take the hit there. $45 down, not much. It's just a normal hit there. And Tesla looks like it's coming right back. So could have just got literally just down towards my risk area and right back down through it, right? And so look, you can see it right back towards 61. We'll see if it just takes off now towards the 75. Leaving this one alone. it's just not my type of trade there. That TSLL, not my type, not my cup of tea. I hate these leverage trades, guys. These leverage ones, at least for like the normal stock, I don't even know why they exist. They should get knocked down, but that's just my outlook. All right, let's keep going. Sober is one definitely to watch out there. Peggy, definitely names to kind of keep an eye out for it. Let's keep going. Let's take this work. Peggy was a good one off the 8s, man. Should have gone after that one. It was just, the problem was that it just jumped. Like by the time I got to it, it was already at like 850. But we did get another opportunity here back at 8 that I wasn't watching. It went to 794 sideways there. Now it's holding off a 9. Right, so we'll look for the next move up there. Peggy looking good there. Sober still holding on here around the 1569. Spread tightening up here, but you got to be very careful if you play this one. Look how it just spreads out right there. 70 cents wide or something like that. It's what, 48 cents wide. Maybe not 70, but definitely SOBR. The spread just gets wide, man. Wide. And the volume's not coming in. That's the problem with SOBR. Tesla coming back. We'll see what happens. Drug hit the VWAP there a couple of times, trying to hold on here. We'll look to see if it just gets hit right back down. A little part of me feels like shorting drug later today, but it had to be later. I don't even know where my phone is, man. It's just been one of those days, guys. Let's keep going, guys. Let's see what else is out there. All right, guys. Seems like there are a little bit of some of the candle issues that are happening. So I would suggest to use a different charting service, at least for the time being, if you have one. Like I have one, right? You guys see me using TC. And there's a reason why. Sometimes you're going to have some data issues. Right now, it seems like the data issues are coming just on the candles. It's not the trading action, but definitely I am seeing that kind of struggle right there. So, hey, we're working on it. I definitely know they are, but definitely seeing a little bit of that struggle there. Zim up there to 2260. So shippers getting a nice little lift today. That's interesting to see. CSX also getting a nice little lift there. So industrials now starting to make the move to the upside. Can Deere make the move to the upside now? So looking at Deere here. And of course, Deere has a bigger spread too. So you just got to be careful with it. But we're starting to come back here, starting to work back here. The Qs are just crappy right now. Apple still hanging off of this 234.90s. See, we make another attempt down there, but seems like Microsoft is coming right back down with the Qs and just pretty much trading with the Qs. It's going like almost side by side right now. Qualcomm pulled back to that 170, 150. I'm just looking around. I'm looking for the tech move, but we're just still not getting it right now, at least. TSLL back towards that 65s, guys. So maybe just got out just a little bit too early. Maybe just didn't have the right sizing. The car coming down there. Nvidia trying to scoop back. Soxal holding off this 80.36. Let's see if it really wants to come back here. Q's now starting to make the move, of course. But Tesla's looking good on the swing trade, at least. We'll be looking good. We still kept Tesla on the swing trade, so not going to be upset about it. All right, getting that attempt down on Sober through the 15. We'll look to see if it catches here and then comes right back up. Drug right back up there, guys, off the VWAP and halted on the upside at 39.74s. What a move there, guys. Look who it is. It's Wisdom. What's up, man? It's good to see you guys, man. Love to see you guys in the chat. Definitely. All right, guys. It seems like today's going to be one of those days where I just got to slow things down a little bit. TSLL, that could have worked out, but hey, it is what it is. Just taking a look at the Qs right now, we're definitely seeing some choppy action. in the overall market. You got to be careful when you're seeing that chop. The SPY still kind of rejecting here, even though, I mean, today is a pretty good day for bullish upside. I mean, overall, things look good. Now the question is, will they take it? Microsoft recovered that VWAP there. That actually looks pretty good there now that Microsoft recovered VWAP. So, hey, let's see if maybe we can trade Microsoft to the upside. I don't trade this one often, but I'm willing to take it here. Just got to figure out the right risk to return here. Let's see if we can get a move back into near the 90 MA here. Man, the 15-minute charts look not too bad. They definitely look nice and bullish. That reclaimed here, that 417.64. Choppy, chop, chop, chop. Q's, what you gonna do? SPY just dragging a little bit there. Financial services look like they're about to go red. Goldman sucks. You ready to get short Goldman sucks? Yeah, it looks like it, guys. Let's see if we can get short on Goldman sucks. And the only problem here with Goldman sucks is it's very, very hard to trade, guys. I'll tell you guys that. I see bullish upside, but man, this looks like a nice little setup to the downside. That's how it goes sometimes. Definitely looks like they're about to fall off. Now the only question is, will they fall off? Citi's leading the downside. Bank of America right there also. So just looking at it here. No trade on right now. Problem is hard to manage the risk here with this one. So we'll see what happens here. FAZ trying to make the push towards $7. Not seeing much, right? Chop, 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 chop right now, guys. Peggy, man, I had that one. Nice outlook for me, guys. Just didn't take the trade. The big thing is the spread for me on this is just too wide there for the way that I take on this account. But look at that, guys. 1064, I think it halted. We're looking at this for 8. So when you think about it, I mean, $2, it still had the potential. I almost took it with 50 shares, but hey, didn't happen. That's all good, guys. Let's keep looking, guys. There's a lot of stocks making big moves right now. If you guys see something you guys want me to take a look at, let me know. Coin over 212. Yeah, coin Clean Spark, man. No pullback in Clean Spark. I've talked about how I really wanted this piece at $10 on Monday. It's now at $12.45, guys. It's 24% higher and just continues to just grind on the upside. If anything, this looks good for scalps on the upside, but that's just the way I'm looking at it because it keeps going great here. We'll see what happens there in Clean Spark. Mara still looking pretty good there. Riot also doing pretty good. So the clean, definitely the Bitcoin names doing really well there. Coin, nice little move there to 212s. Hood, back towards 27. So it just seems like these kind of crypto names really continuing the strong move there. Tesla now starting to hold a little bit here. Looks a little bit better right now that it starts to kind of do this little pattern and can really kind of take off here. But the Qs are still choppy. That's the hard part here, right? Is that you still have this chop right now. So here's a chop, right? You can see the symmetrical triangle right now in the intraday market on the Qs. Will it go on the upside here through the 495s, or will it come back down through the 494s going to 493? So definitely have that back and forth market right now. We'll see what happens there. Microsoft now back down towards that 417. That's the area that I really want to see hold here, and then come back around through that 418 if it's going to be the bullish move. If not, it could break towards 416, 415, and you're starting to wash. All right, let's take a look at what's leading the Qs right now. Intuit Surgical, they had good earnings there. Looking around, Netflix, of course, leading. CSX, not interesting. Not too often do you see that up there leading. KLC, So some semiconductor equipment stocks, did ASML just stop bleeding? Yeah, that's what's going on here. ASML stops to bleed. That lets technology start to come back. And so Qs look like they want the upside here. Let's see if they take it. All right, nice first move there. I'm going with Microsoft here, guys. All right, trying to get some Microsoft here, guys. All right, man, I just don't have enough. Not enough power. Not enough buying power. That's the problem here with Microsoft. I don't got too much buying power on that. I'm gonna go for Soxal. Soxal is another one that I could like kind of take a look at here. Just went off the bottom there, man. Look at the pattern on this thing. It's bearish. This is the bearish pattern. Let's see if it comes and works its way back out of it. Q's trying to come back here, trying to make the up move here. Trying to see what's going positive, what's going into the green here. Communication, technology now green, basic materials green. So taking a look at that. Gold is one that I wanted to look at. So GULD doing actually pretty decent there. NNE pulled back to 2075, continuing right back up there. So NNE, nice breakout today. SMR, nice breakouts. Of course, those are names that are your nuclear plays, and they're doing well. Qualcomm trying to come back a little bit today. This doesn't look too bad. Tesla now coming right back down, and wouldn't you know it, guys? So it just seems like there's just a little bit of a mixed noise right now. SMCI with a nice little takeoff there, guys. So that doesn't look too bad. It is starting to come back here. Does have a nice 48 to go off of, right? And so at least just on the daily pattern, like to see it hold now. That pullback, start to take this high here, 48.50s, and then really can start moving here on SMCI. So, hey, any pullback here in SMCI is going to be looking interesting for me. Even though I don't like the company, it's still a nice little push right there. So let's see if I can get a quick little pullback to like the 48.30s, and then this really can take off there. Q's trying to reload, trying to get that going. Can't get it going so far. Sober. Sober back above the 15s, held that 15 and now at 1560s. Looks interesting if it wants to make the move to 1590s and holds, but the Qs are choppy, but now trying to hold it. Now trying to hold it there. Seeing a lot of buys on Microsoft now. Yeah, the buys are coming in on Microsoft. Qualcomm starting to work its way back. You're starting to get that move there, but it's not a big one. AMD's bottoming pretty good today, guys. So let's see if this can actually work its way back above the VWAP. If tech wants to go back up. Just keeping a very close eye on these right now. Got sober right back down there, so seems trappy to me. Heps. Hips. Right back down goes the Qs. So let's see what happens here. Man, it's choppy. That's for sure. Success is trying to make the move right back up, right? So let's see if for some reason the Qs just dump here. This is a hard day to trade, man. I'll tell you that, guys. 1, 2, kind of 3, 4, kind of bottoming on the VXX, but not really bottoming right there. It's just the Qs are just playing around and they're trying to catch right now. That was a nice little pullback there, but man, the Qs just don't want to make a move right now. They're just sideways. It's trying to recover here. Everything points to a recovery, but it doesn't want to go. So let's just see if it just stair steps. All right, what's up out there? Out drug on the halt. Ooh, get it. SMR is still doing pretty well there. NNE, go get that money, guys. Glad we talked about that theme at least way early. Good job, Jane. Have a great weekend. Have a great one. If you're already heading out, definitely. Appreciate the love too. Like always, guys. We're here to support each other, right? We're all trying to get success. We're not trying to, see each other kind of lose. We're all trying to win, right? I mean, the truth is we're all not going to be winners, but we're going to definitely try to help each other out, keep each other in the right mentality and pushing forward. All right, Q's trying to make that move there. Let's see what happens here. Drug now to 46.20s. Oh my God. It's crazy, guys. A little part of me feels like trading it, but it is such a risk. Such a risk on the limited account. Looks like it's pulling back now here. But you never know where this thing can go, guys. This thing could go to $100 today. It really could. You don't know. Q's trying to break out here. They're trying. AMD back at VWAP. I'm watching you, AMD. I'm watching you. All right, there's some action there. Now I'm seeing a little bit come in here for the Qs. Now let's see what happens. And just as I do that, it just slows down, SMCI pulled back there. That actually looks pretty decent off the 48s. So let's see it here. Let's see if I can get this. Q's coming back down here. All right, guys, just went long on SMCI there. Got 48.21s there, 100 shares. So taking a little bit of a long there on SMCI. I talked about how I wanted this, but I don't think it'll make it back to VWAP. So I'm going to start a bit of starter here. As it goes back through like 48.40s, I can add another 100 shares. Looking for a nice little push right back up towards the high. That's already $60. So let's see what happens here. All right, first push looking good here. Q's holding in well right now. We'll see if this can get the push. Q's right now at the 495.31 spot. Now it's starting to lift. Now I don't want to see it just come right back to VWAP really quickly here. SMCI coming back towards the 48s here. Choose trying to push here. AMD is also one that I kind of like, but it's just more along which one do I go after first. I went for SMCI. All right, nice little down attempt towards the 410s here. Just keeping a close eye on it. Q's trying to lift here, but haven't yet. All right, team, that's how it goes sometimes. Definitely a little bit quiet, right? So now it's starting to slow down. I did do a swing on the short side, Wisdom, at least on drug. I can maybe do it like that. Swing trade, I can maybe do it. But day trade, it's just like... makes you take a deep breath there. $417 holding on Microsoft. That's a good sign there. Tesla's still trying to reload off the 220s and trying to hold on. Now the Qs start coming down a little bit there. See if it can hold the 495s and really push there. $495s now, and just keeps tapping it, but it's slowing down here. There it goes. Come on, hold the 495 on a pullback. There's a nice little hold of the 495 on a pullback. Now we're getting momentum to come in here a little bit more. All right, in a second, I'm going to take a shot here on SMCI. It just goes right back into the slight red for me. Looking for it to start making its way above this kind of resistance to 32. There we go, starting to move there, but still not getting the move. Q's right back below the 495 spot. So I'm talking about that 495 spot. It keeps acting as resistance. We need to look to see if that holds. If not, it's going to reject fast here, and it's already rejecting fast. Q's right back down now towards 494.60. So hard rejection there, guys, as some weakness starts to come back in. All right, we'll see if it starts to make a quick sweep back here, guys. I'm still in SMCI, just down slight a bit here, looking for the Qs to come back towards the top end here. Qs pulling back there, trying to hold like a trend line approach here, where it broke above the kind of symmetrical triangle, just trying to see it hold 494.50s to get right back towards the 495.50s. If not, we might just run into some chop today, guys. So it is a choppy day. The SPY's now heading on the downside of things, and so that's the one thing that it could, you know, really break here. and Goldman Sachs is coming down here. So the financials are starting to crack. Be careful there. That's what's leading some of this downside action here. We'll see what happens if that really does break down. Does Visa break down? Does Bank of America break down? Names like that are kind of on the downside right now and could be breaking down lower, and that would cause the downside action to come in really quickly here. So what will happen here? Will we get a breakdown? If we do get the breakdown, the VXX is starting to prop here and looking like it wants to spike through the 52. So at this point, I'm going to be maybe opening up 2 trades here and having both sides of the trade available to me, whether if the market wants to come right back up or wants to come right back down. So I do like this approach for the VXX. So I'm going to do that also at the same time, looking to see if the Qs go higher. So a little bit of a mixed battle here, but I'm trying to take this trade here too. So it's like a little bit of a battle right here, which one to stick through. I could also just cut SMCI here. It's more about what happens in the Qs. The Qs keep rejecting to go towards the 495s. Now they're starting to hold a little bit more, but at least it's 10-16, and a lot of the day traders start to leave at this time. So that's one thing that I'm just keeping an eye on. There's the attempt to break to the upside. So I'm seeing the Qs on the downside there. So I'm just going to stick with SMCI right now, but I'm keeping my eye on it, seeing what's going on here in the Qs. Bouncing a little bit there. SMCI coming right back up here. So let's see if it wants to make the move or not. VXX also starting to look, it's both ways right now, man. It's crazy. All right, guys, I just got, gonna probably get a hit here. Yep, just got an add on SMCI, guys. Add on SMCI. Got to hold tight here, 4% risk here. I just literally, it's okay if it could just get, there it is. I had that feeling. I'm just gonna get cut out break even, guys. It's like a trap right there towards the 32s. So I got out there, guys. Small, $7, right? So I was looking to see what would go on with the Qs here. The Qs just can't make up their mind if they're going up or down right now. And the big part is the SPY's on the bottom end here. So I'm just watching it here. If it does start making the move, I can just try to catch up with SMCI and just buy it here through the 30s. Definitely caught me just by a penny there. So, hey, that happens too. So you can see how it's just back and forth right now. And the Qs start making a down attempt here. So let's see if the VIX is the move here. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of downside attempt here. Qs are coming lower. I'm going to take a shot here, guys. I'm going VXX long here. Just went 200 shares. Let's see if this starts to make a move here. There's Qs to the downside a little bit further here. And recovery. Man, the chop, guys, the chop. It's just on a 15-minute slowdown here, and it can just find some buyers and then finally start making its way up. So this is why we guys sometimes got to look at the bigger time frames, because the shorter time frames are just tricking us right now on both sides. So if we look at the bigger time frame, this is still bullish, right? Still very bullish for it to make the move through the 495. So I'm definitely getting caught here a little bit in that VXX. I jumped on it, I'll be honest. But hey, that's what it's about now. Looking to see what was going to go on in this 495 spot here. We're definitely in the middle. So the big part is also taking a look at the SPY to see if the financials just take a whack and just go right back down, and look at Goldman Sachs right back up. So if anything, this shows me more and more technology could get the strength in just a second here and then really take off. SMCI, of course, now starting to go up towards the 37s and 35s, looking actually pretty decent there. So AMD could recover a little bit there. Still got the swing on in Tesla, but it's coming down pretty fast now towards 220s, towards my entry. So got to keep an eye on that because Tesla could wash out there. Hopefully it just balances out there at the 220s and starts to work its way back. But I'll let you even see the swing trade. Let me just set here a risk here on the VXX just to make sure. Look at the Qs coming back fast there, guys. Fast. All right, guys. I got about 75 for risk on the VXX here. So we'll see what happens here. Tesla's still looking good there. I'll look to see if it balances out. You see this bottoming action right here. I'm trying to hold off of this right now. If it starts coming back up below this, I'm going to get out. About the 75 is another $40 in risk. And that's what I've been trying to do. Just like $40 in risk on the small ones. Then once I get big sizing of risk, I can risk like 70 and really start to push it. Trying to make 300 on the nice up moves. Tesla's still dragging a little bit there, but the Q's trying to make its way right back up on a 15-minute and make it go green. It went red bar and now it's green bar on it. So hey, that's just how it goes sometimes, guys. Man, that's a big volatility candle. Let's just say that much. And now you're definitely getting the Qs to try to push right back through the 495. All right, team, what's going on out there? How we doing? It's looking like one of those back and forth days, a little bit of some choppy. It looked really good bullish this morning, but now it's kind of a back and forth action here in the Qs. Can they take the 495? If it takes 495, you could finally get that bullish move there. And just like that, the Qs are just chomping back and forth, guys. We got about 7 minutes left on this 15-minute candle. I think it's very important to keep an eye out on that. Getting a test here in the VXX here. As the SPY looks to go green on the 15-minute candle. And it's just chopping around, guys. So just be careful out there, guys. It just seems like it's a little bit choppy on both sides of the trade right now. I'll show you guys the Qs here. The Qs just being choppy right now. What's going to happen? Honestly, I don't think anybody knows, right? It's just back and forth right now. Financials are still dragging. Industrials are red. Let's see what happens here. Will we just all of a sudden get a leak in the Qs? Could happen here. All right, traders, back and forth. It's one of those days in the market. I hope you guys are enjoying the action out there. What's going on out there, traders? It's good to see you guys. And like always, I'm back in the main office, guys. So stick around. Of course, next week we'll get back to the main account. I'll get sized up again as I go for another extra buying power account. So stick around for that. I'm ready to go ahead and take that money, right? Mitch gave you SMR breakout trade. Yeah, to tell you the truth, SMR and NNE, we've been looking at them since the bottom. Since the very early on SMR, and a big part of that was Oracle's mention of nuclear. And that's the one thing that I'm really good at, guys. If there's one thing that you guys should definitely listen to when I'm speaking, is more along the themes that I talk about, right? Because a lot of times I'm trying to catch these themes in trading, and that can really help us, right? So it looked like things were going towards smaller nuclear reactors, and now you're seeing Amazon mention it, right? And you're going to see different names mention it, right? I'm sure in some time Google will probably mention it or something like that, right? So these kind of smaller nuclear plants are really going to be something that's going to be focused on. Another thing to keep in mind, though, if Trump doesn't win, I'd be a little bit careful. At least for me, I think that these could come right back down. And so that's just how it goes sometimes, traders. So we're definitely going to have something interesting to take a look at. No storm can stop Mitch. Well, it tried, Wisdom. I'll tell you guys what. It's been literally a week now. At least it's been close to, like over a week, guys. I mean, I left here on kind of Tuesday last week, guys, and it was now a week and a couple of days. So crazy action to deal with, guys. But hey, I'm back in the main office. I'm ready to keep getting after it, guys, and trying to make that money, guys. That's what it's all about. Hit the like button if you're not subscribed already. What are you guys waiting for? We do this on YouTube. We do this on Facebook, Twitter, everything out there. Or if you're like everybody out there, call it X. Yeah, it's X, right? Well, hit that subscribe if you're not subscribed already, guys. And like always, check out the limited accounts. I don't know how long these are going to stick around, guys. That's what I've been trading today. We'll see if I'm able to make that 1350. But you guys see it. Look at that split, 70-30 here for a $20,000 account. That's not bad at all. We'll see what we're able to come up with today. Back and forth market as it just keeps yo-yoing right now. We'll call it the yo-yo market because it just goes down, comes back up, comes down, comes back up. So back and forth action right now. We'll see what happens here. SMCI was the one, guys. I traded this one bad, guys. Bad Mitch right there. Got to give myself a hit on that, guys, because I did really well on that. I did a nice ad. I just risked very tiny there and needed to wait a second. A second or two there would have got me through that first downside in SMCI. Then I could have added towards that 4840s, looking for the move back there towards the high. And that's exactly what I got. So hey, that's how it goes sometimes, team. Not on point this week. And a lot of that has to do with the things that I'm dealing with, right? Sometimes you're going to be dealing with a lot of, let's say, extracurricular activities. For me, it's more dealing with Airbnbs and things like that. And I know this week might not be the best week for me. That's okay. You just shrug it off, right? The one thing that we can't be doing, traders, and one thing that I can think about, and I recently read a nice thread, and you guys can check that out on my Twitter, of course, _MoneyMitch, at MoneyMitch_TTP. Check me out, guys. And check out the thread that was put on Mark Douglas's, of course, trading in the game. And one thing that I would tell you guys about that is to think about this in the sense that when we're thinking about trading, a lot of the times we get into this where we don't want to have emotions. And the truth is, we're always going to have emotions. Now the question is, do you listen to your emotions, right? Do you let your emotions create your trading habits? And that's one thing to think about, right? So right now I'm having so much emotions swim around because of all the things that are going on around me. Now the question is, does it let it leak into my trading? And it has this week. So I think that at this point, I just got to continue just the battle. Keep taking a look to see what happens in the market today. Of course, I've taken some trades, so this one might be strike 3. And you guys know how I like to stick to my rules. So I got one strike. I got a second strike there in SMCI, even though it was a kind of break-even trade. Got out of there at the 25, only lost $7, but had potential to make the trade there in SMCI. So we'll see what happens there. Looking pretty decent on that one. AMD is one that I'd like if Qs finally decide the up action. We'll see what happens as it starts to come back there. You guys can see it. It is starting to come back. AMD is one that I kind of like off the 156 area, especially. Tesla, we'll see what happens on that. It keeps holding 220. So that's a good area to look at on there. We'll see what happens here if the Qs just make a rip to the upside or the downside, whichever way it happens, right? If the Qs goes to the upside, AMD is going to be looking good. Microsoft is going to be looking good. If it breaks the 417 here, I'll take a look to see what happens in the Qs, but I feel like that's the let go area there too. Look at the Qs trying to prop up here, trying to make the breakout here. Let's see what happens. AMD might just be that one. And one of the things to think about is they waited. Now will they make the market run? Very much could happen, guys. So just be careful out there, guys. It seems like the market wants to take the run here, but will it really take it? Microsoft recovering that 417 level. There's the drop in the VIXy, guys. I'm trying to get out here in between the spread. I'm trying to get out here, guys. I got to stop right underneath it here. If it hits me, it hits me. I'm going to probably lose another 60. We'll be down about 111 today. Look at AMD take off, though. AMD with a nice little push there to 157. So that's actually looking pretty decent, guys. I probably won't catch this trade. I'll probably wrap it up. Of course, I'll stick around towards 11, but going to probably be too deep in the red here on this one. We'll see what happens, man. AMD definitely tried to make that attempt there. Now the market, of course, it goes off the 495 on the Qs and then pulls right back off of it. So let's see what happens there. Definitely back and forth action, man. Holy moly. The Qs had every potential to run there. Let's see what happens. And now the VIX jumping right back towards the 5180s. So holy crap, man. Back and forth out there, team. Q's right back to 494.75. So could have been a trap. I don't know, man. This is choppy trading. It's Friday trading, right? Fridays are tough sometimes, guys. I will tell you guys that. Fridays have a tendency to be some of the tougher days. I think it's because people want to know what they're doing on the swing trade action throughout the weekend. But boy, oh boy, the back and forth today. It's been tough to deal with. I'll say that for sure. And just like that, the Qs are coming right back up for the attempt back through the 495. We'll see if we get it there. It's crazy, man. The back and forth right now. AMD, though, looking like it wants to push through that. Look at AMD now, 157.11. So that would have been a good trade there, at least. Maybe should have been patient today towards 11. That's so hard, though, right? It's pretty much we've gone nowhere, guys. All right, we'll see what happens here in the Qs. What will it do? Susie Q, you're playing with me, man. All right, team. Definitely the chop continues. The Qs start making that move and it says nope, nope. Go Titans. There you go. A little love for the Titans. But to tell you the truth, this is love for that boy, Henry. I don't know why you guys didn't pay the man. You should have paid the man. Should have paid Henry. That guy gave you guys like 6-7 seasons of greatness. But hey, is what it is. Q's. What you gonna do, Susie? Susie Q. All right, guys, ready to see what happens here, right? Definitely back and forth action. We'll see what plays out, right? I mean, it could be the Q's up move. It could be just kind of a little bit more of this chop. Sideways action here. The SPY itself, though, is still like on the red side of things, guys. So that's one thing that's kept me in the VIX is that this is still not making many moves above the VWAP, right? And so at one point, the Qs could drag and all of a sudden start dragging and start bringing like Goldman Sachs right back down, right? And so I'm actually thinking about swing trading Goldman Sachs to the short side of things right now. But Tesla's looking pretty good there, guys. Of course, I got Tesla at 219. Tesla's starting to come back for the 221. I just can't see the Qs breaking out right now, even though it's like, these are the would have, could have, should have, right? Logically, the Qs seem to make sense today. Logically, but logic doesn't always trades with, right? We don't trade with logic, right? Go Yankees. Okay. A little Yankee love. Judge. The Judge. Boom. The Judge. Yeah, Judge, good home run. Good home run yesterday. The Yankees, I think, are going to go towards the World Series. I think it'll be Yankees versus the Dodgers. Classic World Series. I'll watch it. I actually like some of the players, right? I mean, I actually changed my swing. If you guys don't know, I do a little baseball action. Changed my swing to be more like Judge with that boom, that pop, different type of swing, guys. That's I'm telling you guys, Money Mitch is a learner. Whether it be sports, whether it be trading, whether it be whatever it is, I don't know. Whether it be how to cut the grass the best and get the weeds out. Money Mitch is a learner, man. That's what I do. All right, guys. Wow. The pause. Look at the Qs now coming down here, guys. So we'll see if we make a downside attempt here on this swing, guys. I'm not going to let it go back towards the break even. At this point, Tesla should have made the breakout, but if the Qs break down, Tesla will break down with it. So I'm going to put a break even stop loss on this. I'm going to go over now as I start to get a nice little break attempt towards the upside on the VXX as the Qs come down here. Might be looking to add and then take a shot off of this, right? So let's see what happens here in the limited account here, what I can do. Tesla trying to go for that 221 now. I'm just going to leave that go, right? If it goes towards the breakout a little bit later, I can even add on it. But for right now, just taking a look at it, taking a bet here and seeing what happens. Still can add about 100 shares on the VXX, probably about 150 shares if I try, but not going to try to add until I see this trend line kind of get broken. So if this trend line can break and we're back towards like 52, yeah, I'll take a shot to add, but not going to add down here because I only increase risk, right? I've talked about this plenty of times, guys. If you add at the bottom, a lot of times you're just going to increase the risk because if it comes to the 5150s, all I did was just give it more money on the downside. Looking to see if the MACD can cross over here on the 5. You can see how it's slowly tipping over to it, but needs to kind of get the Qs to really collapse here. And look at the Qs. It goes back to the VWAP and catches and right back up. So it seems to me like this is one of those days, and I talk about these all the time, guys. Before the move happens, I want to talk about it, this is when you got to know the good lunch spots, the lunch spots in New York City, right? Because I always talk about this. Sometimes the trade that happens, which is kind of funny, where it's like nothing happens for like the first hour or two in the day. It seems like the traders go out to lunch. They come back from lunch and they say, okay, now let's make things move. Well, pay attention to that. Later today, you could see a bigger move. It's just slowly leaking out the traders. The patience in all of us, right? When the market goes sideways like this, what happens? You get impatient. I get impatient. They get impatient. We all get impatient, right? Well, slow things down. Wait for the move, right? That's what you could be doing. I'm in the trade and stuck in it versus just getting out of it and maybe waiting to see the move and reacting to that. But of course, I don't have all day to trade, right? And so that's what happens to a lot of traders. They get to a point where they just are done with the trade. Drug, though, has continued to go, guys. And this is one that, holy moly, I talked about it, how it could be up to 60 in a hurry. Well, guess what? It's almost to 60 right there. So at the end of the day today, guys, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, and I'm saying it again, at the end of the day, I might short drug. But be careful out there, guys, because this is a make it or break it on your account, right? This thing's up there now to $60. It is insanity, the move that's going on in drug. Sober is down and getting wrecked. It's back down to 1350. Peggy, now that one still hanging out here, still kind of in reach here, guys. It just bounced off the VWAP. Looking pretty decent on that bounce there. Could it go back to 12? It very much could. It's not a bad looking trade there on Peggy. Peggy. I don't know why I like this one. See if it holds that 10 pullback and really kind of makes that attempt back through 11. Tesla now coming up. So looking good on the swing. Now back towards 221.17. So you can finally get your move there in Tesla now if it really wants to break. Man, these Qs just don't want to do anything, man. It's just hanging out here. Q's making that breakout attempt here, guys. I'm probably just going to get cut here about 50 bucks. Letting it go, guys, at 51.70. So if it hits me at 51.70, so be it, guys. So be it. All right. We'll see what else is out there. SMCI was definitely one of the ones that I was looking at and traded. Just kind of didn't manage it the best way. It got up there to 49. So I was getting it down there at 48.20. So that wasn't a bad outlook there. It's SMCI continuing. What about AMD? AMD, we're looking at it over here at the 156.50s. Now already to 157.50s. So really nice break there on AMD. That could keep pushing. GS, will Goldman Sachs just all of a sudden take a dump? It could, guys. It could. That's one of the signs that could tell me that, yeah, we're coming right back down here, and the Qs just come right back down. And see the SPY now back above VWAP. Let's see if it comes right below it now. XLF just hanging out here. You can see XLF take a rip to the upside. That could be good signs that it can continue going. VXX still chopping around out there. Man, this is just trying to lull you to sleep right now as the markets right now. And I'm sure it's achieving it. I'm sure a lot of you guys are like, man, this is slow. All right, guys, here you guys have a little bit of extra information. Check this out, guys. So after lunch action, join us on the Trade the Pool Discord, of course, for our group trading at 2 p.m. Eastern and onward. So definitely check that out, guys. I think this is something, especially on a day like today, where it's kind of slow. It's okay to go take some lunch, get your mind focused again, and come back when the market moves. Maybe set an alert when the market moves. Something that you can be thinking about. Just like that, the market pulling back. It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. Man, what did they do to Susie Q? Because she is stuck. Take a look at it on the average true range on the 1 minute. Look how the average true range is just falling off the wagon, man. This thing was moving about 55 cents. Now it only wants to move 24 cents. And it's just hanging out here, guys. It's ugly. And it's still like kind of a bullish move, but it's not the pretty breakout. I'll tell you that much. 15 minutes still holding pretty well on this level here, this like 583 level. So definitely you could have found buyers there, and it's slowly just working its way higher. And then around like 12 or 1, it starts to pick up there, and then things look a lot better, right? So that's what I'd keep an eye out for. Microsoft is definitely a really good look there. Nice recovery on the 417. So that actually looks really good there. We'll see if it can make its way back towards like 419 and 420 by the end of the day. What a choppy chop, choppy chop, 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 chop day. All right, guys. Definitely one of those days where it's good to start the weekend early. Where is the happy hours? Are they starting early? Because it seems like it. Cleveland Cliff coming back. Steel has been doing pretty decent, guys. So this is not a bad one to watch for a day 2 move. Nvidia starting to push there. All right, getting a downside attempt there in the VXX. See if we get an up attempt here. And just like that, it scoops. Just like that, it scoops. Oh, man. This is one of those days where a lot of times I'll just set a stop and walk away. It lets you get targeted on the stop, but it's just so limited action. Let's just say that much. Limited. Man. Not much right now, guys. Come on, 51.76. Do you want to go? Tesla's going. Where the Qs go now? Qs are trying. 494.97. They're trying. I can't get it though. Can't get it through right now. Tesla's trying to make the move. 221.60s, 221.70s coming up. Let's see what happens there. 221.70, 221.79 now. Tesla going for it. The high right now, 221.79. $221.80 showing up for a second there. Definitely Tesla getting that attempt breakout back up, right? There's that attempt breakdown for me here. And the Qs are just slow. Microsoft trying to cut that 417 one last time here. That's a tough one there. It's a tough one today, guys. I'll tell you guys that. Especially with the action that you're getting in the overall indexes. It's very hard to stay in trades, right? On both sides. There's a big attempt there for 222s on Tesla. There's 222.10s now. And there's the market heading towards the pullback on the Qs. Boy, oh boy, has this been a tough one today. Qs now pulling back there. SPY. It's right off that. Trying to make a move to 584s, but just can't do it just yet. Tesla, though, got strong there. 222.20s. All right, guys. Don't. It's one of those days where just it's trying to get the patience out of me, and it is. I'm sure it is for everybody. Like, you ain't gonna lie. You get to this point where you're just like, man, come on, do something. If I could push the stocks over the cliff right now, I would. I don't care which way it goes sometimes. I just want it to move. That's what real traders want. They want volatility. We don't care if the stock, is going to stay sideways here. $222.10s, $222.14s now on Tesla. And the Qs don't want to go up. Man, this is what I mean by lull you to sleep. Like, by the time it is 11, who's still here? That's the real question. And that's what happens a lot of the time. And now that they'll probably make the move through lunch as the algos kick things off. The choppiness, man, continues. Now the Q's coming right back. So just when you thought they would finally give it to you, there it is. Another little pullback. Now Q's coming right back down towards 494.50s. SPY coming down a little bit with it. Goldman Sachs made an attempt to the downside. Q's now 494.50s. Can we go to 494s? Can we just do something? Good Lord, one of those days, guys. All right, sticking around for the action here, but boy, oh boy. What action? I'm not seeing much there. Drug, though, is an absolute rocket. Rocket, man. Drug. Has this been halted for 15? How long has it been halted for? 16 minutes. Should be reopen here. What happened with drug? Did it get halted on a T2? Man, if it got halted on a T2, that's going to suck. I don't know, man. It should reopen. That's a tough one there. Qs make attempt towards the 494s and they come right back around. Sorry, guys. Sorry to sound like I'm playing games here, but the truth is the market's playing games with us, and we're just a part of the show. We're just a part of the circus, guys. It's definitely a circus type of market today. Look at over here and look over here, but don't forget, look over here. That's what the market's telling us. Leaky leak coming in a little bit. Will the SPY make a down move there? Drug still not open. That'd be open by then. But I might have counted this candle, so it might just be one more. I mean, maybe it has about 1 minute left. Let's see when drug reopens, what happens on that. Q's still leaking there. See if it goes down through the 494 spot. That is the breakdown spot, but we can't even get there right now. It's just choppy between. Seeing deer start to work its way back up, and this one looks good for a swing trade here. I don't know if I have enough money to take it in the swing account because the Tesla's so capital intensive. Q's making that attempt to 494s. All right, guys, I'm going to make an attempt here, guys. Normally I don't add here and might break my rules a little bit here, but trying to add at least at the VWAP there, 5190s. Try to get back there. I'm at 5196, so don't want to add too much down here. I could add like maybe 100 shares right here, but it's going to bring me down just the slightest bit. So I want to get closer to the green and then start risking off break even. We'll see what happens on that. The market heading towards the downside, but will it actually break down? I think it matters more about the SPY breaking down and the financials, right? If the financials could really kind of leak there, then yeah, you could get that big leak there. Goldman Sachs looks like it's trying to leak there. So is Morgan Stanley. So we'll see what happens on that. Bank of America, Citi was leading the downside. So let's see if that goes through the low. That's something to look at. But man, the chop continues, guys. It comes back towards 494, but it's not like we just pounded the lows right now. We just came really quickly, but at the same time, we're not just dropping like a tank, but we'll see it here if it really starts to give out and goes to 493. Back towards support, washed out some traders, I'm sure, and now it could get going, and it's still chop here. So Workday, one that I was trying to swing trade earlier in the week and got out of this one for break even, but it looks good as it starts to come back towards 246. Definitely not a bad looking chart at all here on Workday. We'll look to see if it starts to work its way back into 260, pun intended. Holy cannolis, is the Q's choppy. Back above the 494s there. Man, this is just too much. That's why I didn't add there. I mean, it would just increase risk, right? That's what it's doing if I add there. So I think, man, at this point, you're just in chop land. It's chopping up both sides right now. It got really bullish there for a second, and then it chopped up the bulls. Now it's starting to come back down. So the bears start feeling the pressure, and then it starts to push on the bears now. It starts to come back up. Good God, man. This I'm like, man, like just move, guys. Just move. AMD's at least giving you an opportunity back at VWAP, but man, the market's just not going anywhere, guys. Market's almost right at open. Opening price 584.20, 583.70s, pretty much 584, right? I mean, Q's opened up at 494.83s. It's at 494.34. I mean, it's just chop, sideways action. And when this happens, guys, you can either trade the range, or you can be patient, or you can just get the heck on out, man. That's what happens a lot of times. All right, Dollar Tree, interesting to look at. What about Disney? What about Disney off of the Netflix earnings? It's doing pretty well. It's coming back a little bit. I did see that they did a new park pass to skip the lines. I have to test that out. This does look like 3 or 4 bottomings. It looks like maybe you got a move in Disney back to 100. I think it all depends on their earnings, right? We'll see what happens there. The Qs are just so choppy, man. It's impressing me, man. It's impressing me, the chop. Put it this way, guys. If I was trading by myself, would I still be here? And the answer is, I'll be honest, guys, like I always am. Hell no. At this point, I mean, it's just blowing my mind with the trading action. There's not much happening there, right? So I'm trying to see it. But, I mean, hey. It's not much, man. It's just leak, and then, oh no, back up. Oh no, back down. Oh no, back up. bipolar markets today. That's what I'm gonna call it. All right, guys, Nasdaq is surging. Live breakdown was the idea for this video, and I think that we're seeing it, right? The surge was there, but it's just stopped at the top. 494s recover just like that. You're just in chop land. Tesla looking decent there. Trying to keep going, trying to keep pushing. Financial services leaking a little bit there. Energy on the leak. Industrials look like they're about to fall off. Cyclicals not looking too bad there. Of course, that has autos in there. Department store has been doing pretty decent, doing pretty well. As a lot of people were looking for some concerns there, but have been doing pretty decent there. Gap, Lulu bouncing back. How's A&F? A&F kind of hanging out, not doing much. It did come back up though some. All right, guys, market's just gonna chop around, it feels like, all day long. So at this point, I'm gonna set a risk here and just get out of here. Start to wrap it up, guys. It's 11:01, guys. I'm out of here, guys. I'm gonna just set a risk there. We'll see what happens with this, right? Can it go back up? We really don't know right now. I think it's one of those days where it's going to be a little bit of some mixed noise back and forth, but I'm happy to be back in the office, guys. I'm happy to be back going into, of course, 11. We start up at 11:30. Today, we talked about, of course, the playbook and the sunrise report. We'll get back to that action every single morning. That's what this is about, guys. I try to build a stream that you guys can truly not only enjoy the trading action, but get some true information and value every single morning. So come over here tomorrow or Monday, really, on 8:30, and we'll start it again. We'll start with a new week. I'm going to get a fresh account so I can go ahead and take bigger swings, bigger trades. Of course, no one cares about $60. They're trying to see me make $600, right? Or how I was doing it, I was getting close to making $1,000 or $2,000 on the green trades, right? Red trades are going to be closer towards 4, maybe 500, maybe even 600, right? As you keep sizing up, the idea there is to make sure that you're keeping that kind of break even outlook, right? That's what I try to do in my sizing up technique, and I'll show you guys it right here in front of you guys. Where else are you guys going to get that? Like always, check out Trade the Pool, guys. Check out our limited accounts. Check out the swing trade. You guys see me taking the swing trade today on Tesla. We'll see how things play out. Be safe out there, traders. I will see you guys back on Monday. It's good to be back in the home office, of course, and stick around because there's a lot more for you guys. And check out our Discord if you haven't done so already. Of course, Tim's always working hard on that. You guys see him in the chat there. Hit the like button. We'll see you guys back next time. Not getting the money bag today, but guess what? We always got the money bag because you're here with Trade the Pool. See you guys next time.